Hello and welcome. In today's exciting episode, I'm making this pullover dress, Simplicity S9454, out of Scandinavian snowflake fabric.
It's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect jacket.
So this red dress here is my take on the Butterick 6677, and yeah, I've made so many of them, and I use a sleeve pattern from one thing, a dress pattern from another, and sort of make up the skirt as I go along. And a lot of people are saying, that's cute, but can you just give me one pattern for something, a dress that'll be slightly similar? So yeah, I found this one, Simplicity S9454, and I think this is a pretty good one. It's got the sleeves are slightly longer, but it is a pullover dress that you sort of just put over your head and put on and you're ready to go. The top, so the bodice is a little more cropped than the Butterick 6677, but all in all, it's kind of more like the what my takes on the 6677 are now. So this Simplicity one, it has two sleeve variations. I'm doing the longer puffier sleeve with the thin cuff, and you're supposed to use bias binding on the lining. Obviously I'm going to do a full lining instead and not even cut out the pattern for the bias tape thing. And yeah, these are the sleeves, and these are the little cuffs for the sleeve. They're quite thin, but I think they look cute. And for the see the skirt, you're supposed to cut out 2 of this one on the fold and 3 of the lower skirt on the fold. So instead of cutting out 5 bits that are odd shapes, I just cut 5 strips of the fabric, and yeah, I'm going to change them around. So I think my top tier will be 1.5 strips salvage to salvage, and then my bottom tier will be 3.5. So that way I get the ratio right of the pattern, but I don't waste any fabric. So yeah, this way I was able to get a lot more out of my fabric and use a lot less fabric. Also, because I did entire salvage to salvage strips of fabric as my skirt, there weren't the seams in the sides for the correct spot for pockets, but I'm not really a pocket person, so it didn't bother me. But yeah, if you want pockets, then yeah, you will have to recut your bits so that you have room for pockets, or sew on patch pockets. I think patch pockets would look really good with this. Anyway, so first up I did my sleeves. The sleeves are one piece, so I just did the seam and sewed the seam, and then at the bottom you fold it in half so you can make your center pleat, and that's a wide one. And then once I've done my center pleat, I sort of pull the fabric in half, and then I do 2 smaller side pleats. The center one I then box into a box pleat, fold it out into a box pleat and pin it, and then the 2 side ones I make knife pleats, and then I pin the cuff to the inside, and then I sew that right round. And then once the cuff is sewn on, I pull it round, or I turn the sleeve in the correct way. Then I pull round the cuff. So it's a really thin cuff, so it just basically goes over the seam allowance, folds, and then folds under. And then once you pinned it, which is a little tricky, you just have to hand stitch it down on the inside. And once that's done, they are ready to go. So I set them aside. This fabric is so cute. I absolutely love it. Anyway, so the sleeves are done. It's time to do the bodice. And I'm worried that it's a little cropped, and also that it's incredibly wide. I mean, I intend to wear it over several other layers, so it's okay. But this is a small. I don't know, having seen the finished thing, it's definitely not small. But yeah, so I sewed the bodice, the lining bodice and the outer bodice together at the side seams and the shoulder seams. And there's a slight sleeve on the bodice, so you clip those curves under the arm. Then it's time to pin the lining and the outer bodice together around the neckline. Then again, clip the curves around the neckline and turn everything once you machine sew it, and turn it out. And then obviously you press along the way as well. So then it's time to set the sleeves. So you just pin them in, and they're a really good fitting sleeve, so there's no ease involved. And yeah, it's done. I was a little concerned. I normally absolutely hate drop shouldered sleeves, but these ones are quite cute. So I'll set that aside, and it is time to work on the skirts for this dress. So my top tier, as I said, is 1.5 salvage to salvage strips of fabric, and the bottom tier is 3.5. So I just sewed all the bits together in a loop. So I've got the top tier loop, the bottom loop, and then I put pins in them. So half, quarter, eighth, 16ths. Then I got my top, the bodice, and I did the same thing. Put 2 pins in the sides, 2 pins in the middle, and then just 8, and then I matched up all the pins and then pleated down the gaps in between. Once that was all pinned, then I sewed it, then I checked it, then I reinforced it, so machine sewed it again. Once that was done, I did the next tier the same way. Then once you machine sew, then you finish, and then the next thing you do is the lining of the bodice. You just pin that up and hand stitch that down, and ta-da, it's finished. So it is a relatively simple dress, and I didn't do the pockets, so that would add a layer of complication. You have to, yeah, put them in. But they're simple pockets, or as I said, I really think patch pockets would be good for this one. But if you're a pockets person, I don't think it needs pockets. Now, I just showed the picture, and you're not supposed to have a tie in it. So this is what. So the left one is the Butterick 6677, my ruby dress, and the right one is this Simplicity one that I just made out of the Scandinavian snowflake fabric. And you're not supposed to, it's supposed to be so cropped that you can't actually use a tie on this one. But as I said, I made this small, but I think this is too big. The small is supposed to be a 10 or a 12, and I made a size 10 is good because for me I can wear a couple of other layers underneath. But yeah, I think it's definitely more a 12 or a 14. Maybe it's just that I have small shoulders, so everything looks bigger. But yeah, it looks more like a Gunne Sax dress than a casual modern day dress. But yeah, I like it, but it's not what I thought I was making. Yeah, I definitely will wear it with the sash. It's so much more flattering. So this is the back, and I showed you the side. Now here's the front again. And yeah, I mean, it does look like the picture if you take the sash off, but it looks so much better with the sash on. So I don't know what to tell you. If to all the people asking for a simple pattern that they can just follow, then yeah, I definitely think this is a good if you like all my ruby dresses. And this Simplicity 9454 it's a good, yeah, it's got longish puffy sleeves. You could sort of just fold the hem of the sleeve up rather than having an actual cuff if you want that. I personally, the next time I make this, I'll do a size further down, so I'll do the extra small, and I will I think the neckline is too scooped for me, but if you've got a larger chest and you really like the Gunne Sax looks, then yeah, maybe make your first mock-up with the original neckline, because I think most people would like this. I just prefer a neckline that looks basically like a t-shirt. I didn't have enough fabric to make a sash that matched, but I've got a couple of other Scandinavian fabrics, so I used that. But yeah, a belt or a sash is just 2 thin strips of salvage to salvage fabric sewn together, and then you sew it in half, and then you turn it inside out, and then I hand stitch them together so that it sits really flat. And yeah, so that's how I made that one. It's quite simple. It's the first video in December if you want to see that sash and the dress matching that sash be made. But yeah, it's quite simple just to make it. So I do have a couple of other beige fabrics because this is the last video for beige month. And I use this fabric because next month is Valentine's Day month, so it's all reds and pinks. And this is a beige base with a red snowflakes on top, so I thought that would be perfect for January. But also, I just love this fabric. It was a clearance fabric after Christmas. And yeah, but it doesn't look very Christmassy. I think it just is very pretty. So yeah, I'm really happy with this dress. It's so much prettier. Like, I don't think this is particularly flattering. I think it's cute, that pattern picture, but yeah, it's so lovely. And obviously, if you want to do most of my ruby dresses, I had loads of fun mixing all the different patterns and pattern clashing and mixing. So yeah, this pattern, this simplicity one, has 3 distinct layers, and you could even add a third tier to the skirt, which would mean that you could have 4 distinct areas of pattern. So yeah, so if you're only using 2 different ones, you could go print A, print B, print A, print B sort of thing. So yeah, I think all in all, this is a really good pattern. If you don't want to buy one pattern for the sleeves and one pattern for the dress and then work out the tiers of the skirts for yourself, I think this is a really good pattern. That said, the bodice on this one is a lot wider than the bodice on the Butterick 6677. I think if you have a large bust, then the Simplicity 9454 is inherently better, because obviously with a pullover dress, you have to pull it over your bust. That's kind of the big obstacle, as it were. So I think if you've got a small bust, then I think you will probably prefer the Butterick 6677, and if you have a larger bust, you will probably prefer the Simplicity 9454, just for ease of putting it on and taking it off. But yeah, I like both of these patterns. As I said, the neckline, I think I'll change that. But apart from that, I really like it. Very easy to use pattern, simple, and very cute Gunne Sax type dress that you end up with. And yeah, I definitely can see myself pattern mixing with this pattern, doing different prints in different areas. I think I'd always have the bodice and the sleeves in the same pattern. I don't, to de-accentuate the drop sleeve nature of the sleeves. But yeah, I like it. Definitely recommend this pattern. And I probably won't make another one right now, but yeah, I can see myself making more of this, but I do prefer it with the tie on. That's just me personally. I think that's what I'm used to. But yeah, it's a very cute pattern. So thank you for watching this last episode of Beige Month. Maybe I'll see you next month in Valentine's Day month.